Okay guys, let's get into this sentiment analysis on Twitter. What we're going to do is we're going to take those 3 dates that we talked about in the last video in 3 different countries. We're going to compile all the tweets, then we're going to measure most frequent words, and we'll eventually score them with one of our libraries for sentiment analysis. So let's just dive right in. Okay, so first things first, file, we're going to do this as a markdown. We'll call this Twitter sentiment. I'm going to say tutorial so I know what it is, but you can just put Twitter sentiment. Let's get rid of all this. Okay, so let's load our data. So remember, I'm going to provide you with the data if you're doing this on Praxis. If not, you can watch the previous videos of how to get the data yourself from a Twitter API. But what I'm going to do is tweets 20 CA, which is for Canada. And you should have these files in your starter folder. You can move them over to your working directory. We're going to read CSV. And then tweets 20ca.csv, and then row names equals 1. So get rid of the first row, so that fits in there. 21 ca, read CSV. Let's make this so you can see. Tweets 21 ca.csv, row names equals 1, tweets 22 CA, read CSV, tweets 22 CA.csv, row, we gotta close that, parentheses, row names equals 1. Alright, what I'm going to do here, now, I'll show you a little shortcut. Alright, so I'm going to make a new thing here. I'm going to put these in here. And I'm going to go up to this hourglass at the top here. And make sure it says in selection here. That is checked. I'm saying replace CA with US. And I'm going to hit all. As you can see here, it replaced all of our Canadas with US's. And then I'm going to do one more. And I'm going to highlight. This is already open, you can see here, but I'm going to select in selection. And I'm going to say CA, and I'm going to replace it with GB for Great Britain. Okay, so now I can run these 3 chunks. And as you can see, it's loaded. This over. I have my 20 Canada, 20 Great Britain, 20 US, 21 Canada, 21 Great Britain, 21 US, 22 Canada, 22 Great Britain, 22 US. And if we look at these, like I said at the end of my last video, these are, I cleaned them, right? So we have our ID, which I don't like that we're not really going to use the ID, but it put them in scientific notation, which isn't great. We have this created at, which was the time, and then we have the text. And so I got rid of all the retweets and likes and all that stuff because we're not going to use them. But that data is there if you're interested in, measuring how, a tweet is, how viral it is or something. All right, so let's annotate this. Let's load the Canada data. Let's load the US data. Let's load the British data. Okay, so now let's load our required libraries. Alright, library. So we're going to use Lubridate because if you look at these dates, they're in this weird format that we had to use in the API. So we're going to actually convert them to something a little more readable. We're gonna use our good old fashioned, or good standby ggplot2. We're gonna use dplyr, and then reader. All right, let's run those. Everything is good to go. So let's clean our US tweets. So we'll say tweets US, and we're gonna do bind rows tweets 21 US, not IS, US. And we're gonna pipe down. We're gonna say mutate year equals Y 2021. And then tweets. So we're just gonna combine all of our US tweets, and we're gonna give them a year annotation. So we just have one data frame instead of 3. Equals 2020 Y 2022. And then tweets 20 US. The order here doesn't matter. The reason they're in this order is because I decided at the last minute to add a third year to go back to 2020. So that's why it's backwards. Year 2020. Let's close this out, and then we're going to mutate we're going to use the lubridate time stamp equals YMD HMS, and we're going to pick our what column to run that in. So that's a created at column. All right, so what we did here, this should be tweets US. We said, okay, bind, because remember they're in different orders because the columns are all messed up from when we grabbed them from the API. So we said, all right, bind everything that has the same column names, and then add a year based on what data frame they are, right? So the tweet 21 US, we're gonna give it a year Y 2021 for year 2021. Tweets 22 US, we give it that year 2022, and the same thing for 2020. And then we say, take that timestamp that was gobbledygook and use this annotation: year, month, day, hour, minute, second. Okay, so now if we look at tweets US, you can see our ID we didn't do anything with, our text we didn't do anything with. We did this created at, you can see the beforehand where it was 2021 18T00595900Z. So we've converted it into something a little more readable. 2021 January 8th, and then at, what would that be, 12:59:59, 12:59:21, etc. Okay. So now, let's clean our GB tweets. And we're going to cheat again, or make life easier on us. We know this code works here. I'm just going to take this. I'm going to find US. Oops. Make sure, so this is important. Make sure that when you do this, you have it in section, because otherwise you could replace US in your entire thing and it messes everything up. So you got to be very careful when you do this. So we're going to replace US with GB, make sure it's in section where you highlighted, and then hit all. So, and this kind of gives you an idea of if you screwed up or not. So it says 4 occurrences. If it says like 30, then I know that I've replaced the whole document and I'll have to like edit undo. Okay. So now let's clean our Great Britain tweets. So as you can see, we have our timestamp, the year. So if we scroll way down here, you can see these are the 2020 tweets. You can see we still have some Spanish in here. And then let's do this one more time for our Canada tweets. So in theory, you could write like a loop function to loop through and load these and loop through and oops, I have to replace it with GB instead of US. In section with okay, 4 occurrences. There's ways to write more concise code, but we don't want to make this more difficult than it is already at this point. So, okay, so let's look at Arcana. So you can see the number of tweets, and this is kind of a product of population size, right? So, we have 14,000 tweets for the US, 10,000, and then 6,000 for Canada. But that's plenty for what we're doing. It's just sample size, right? Okay. So now, so actually, I'm gonna change this. This isn't really clean. Let's combine our tweets, because now we're gonna clean them. Let's combine our Canada tweets. All right. Let's clean our US tweets. So I'm going to do remove reg. We're going to write a function here. We're going to say what we want to get rid of here. So I'm going to copy and paste this and show you here. Okay, so we want to remove some of this annotation that gets put onto these tweets. And so if you put this code in, and ampersand, AMP, semicolon, all these different annotations here. Here, hold on a second. Oops. Alright. I was trying to zoom in, but it's not letting me. Okay, so we'll remove those. Tidy tweets GB. Or no, we start with US, didn't we? Tidy tweets. So tweets US. Pipe down. Filter. String detect. And this is all stuff that we covered in the previous examples of tidy tweets. We're just applying it to not Darwin and stuff that we actually pulled out. So it's kind of review. Mutate text, string remove, all text remove reg. So we saved these as in our remove reg. So we're saying remove those from our tweets unless tokens word text token equals tweets. Write it down. Filter. If not a word in stop words word. Remember, we want to get rid of and the, all those common words that are going to mess up our analysis. String remove all stop words word. Actually, I'm reading that right. My eyes are getting old. String detect word A through Z. Okay. So this command essentially, you've written this before, right? This is from, I think it was the Tiny Tweets video. So we're just going to clean up our data set here and make Tidy Tweets US. And so if we look, of course, it was green at first, and I was like, oh, it went through first time. Somewhere there's something that's not supposed to be there, obviously. RT, filter, string, detect, mutate, remove all text, remove reg, unnest tokens, word, text, token equals tweets, filter word, and stop words. This should be in. I piped it. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay, so right here I had a pipe instead of in. So let's do that. All right, so now if we look at Tidy Tweets US, you can see that what we did is we've removed all that junk that we didn't want in there. And we broke apart our tweets, remember? So previously we wanted one word per line instead of, if we look at the Tweets US, before, each tweet had its own line. So now we just broke everything apart into single words, one word per line, so we can actually measure them, right? Okay, so let's cheat again and save us typos. All right, let's clean our GB tweets, and let's make sure we got in selection. We're going to say US. We're going to change it with GB. I think in selection. Yep. Okay. 2 occurrences, so that's good. All right, let's clean our GB tweets. If we run that up here, I'm gonna move this over. There we go. Tidy GB tweets. You can see we now have our GB ones, and you can already see stuff that's Boris Johnson. He was the Prime Minister of Britain during most of COVID, and he might. No, I don't think he's. Yeah, they decided not to have him come back, but Boris Johnson. There's some very. Let's see what other British. I don't know who Swindon is. I'm not super up to date on British politics. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna get lost in looking at the data again. All right. So we got that one, and then let's cheat one more time and just run this code again, but for Canada. And in section, we're gonna look for GB. We're gonna replace with CA. So we copied the GB section. If you copy the US one, make sure you replace the US. So we should have 2 replacements, just like before. Now we run this section, and we have, who is this? Canada. Oh, Canada. There we go. Looks good to me. Is there anything Canadian here? When I looked through it before, I saw some. I saw some Ontario going on. There's Ontario. So we got something Canadian specific. Okay. All right. So let's see. All right. So we're going to stop there. So we're at 20 minutes, that's good. So the next one we'll actually start doing some plotting and get into the actual sentiment analysis and things like that. So we got to the point where we've loaded our data, we've combined our data, we've cleaned our data, removed the things that aren't words, removed the common words, broke everything apart into single lines. And now we'll be able to start doing graphing and giving sentiment scores, making word clouds and things like that in the future. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and I guess I'll just catch you in the next one.